Road to EWC is certainly in the back of their minds, you could imagine.
I mean, they were dismantled by Hanwha eSports the way they are now currently dismantling KT Rolster. They've been on the other side of this. They know what it's like, but I hope that for their sakes, they can feel the momentum here because it is absolutely there. It says, we'll see the first change here for KT Rolster in terms of right of first selection. They'll go for first pick.
Choosing first pick, though, once you've made it to game 3, feels a lot less powerful, in my opinion.
I'm trying to think of what pick they're looking for here. Is it a first pick Lucian? Probably not, right? That's not what you'd want necessarily on first pick. Cassiopeia was always going to be banned, so interesting choice, because they'll also lose counter picks potentially in this draft as a result of this, but let's let them decide and not speculate further. As the Bard will once again be banned. Varus is, of course, always going to be banned even here on first pick by KT Rolster. Any setup here for BDD would have been simple, but they're not going to have that. I actually like this Lee Sin ban.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think Lucid has had some great performances on the champion, and Lucid has been the linchpin so far today for Dplus, as the Wukong, phenomenal. The Jarvan, also absolutely amazing. And he's been running the early game.
I'm starting to wonder what the first pick angle is going to be here for KT. I think Karma will be banned in this final spot.
Yeah, it could be the option. The Nocturne still up and available. So, like you were saying, the Karma is going to be banned. I mean, the only thing.
Lulu?
Oh God. Well, maybe. I mean, you have a Aphelios or Yunara to pair with it if they wanted to give aiming some late game scaling.
The thing is, if you pick the first pick Lulu, they just instantly slam lock the Lucian lane into you. So, not that it's unplayable or unwinnable, but it has been struggling a little bit. Is he going for a first pick Ezreal in this situation? Could be a possibility.
Well,
if you go for Lucian here, I mean, it could work, but it's very risky. And I do not expect it. They're going for the Nocturne.
All right.
And so now, guess what? You're not getting Lulu. Dplus Kia are going to snap that one up.
Unless they don't. We'll have to see what they do decide to do. I think they should, absolutely. But we've seen a lot of teams kind of forego it. As, Lulu, Nico, another big one. Aurora, another big one alongside the Nocturne.
If they go for like a Lulu Yunara, you could go Ezreal Nico. Ezreal Nico works well with Nocturne. The Aurora pick is still out there.
Okay, Lucian going to be the choice here. It means they're not picking away the Lulu if they are going to lock this one away.
This feels like a risk.
I think you have to lock the Milio as well, because otherwise, I mean, you don't have the fallback Nami anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. Unless you really just think there's no Milio lane they're going to be playing into you. But I think this is the safer option, especially because you're all in on this Lucian. I think we're going to see Yunara Lulu here.
Yeah.
And it's pretty straightforward. The KT Rolster having the better end of the draft in this series for the first time, I feel, right now, where we're sitting at this moment in it, as everything feels fairly predictable from here on out for these next two picks. And I wonder what the answering jungle pick here will be for Lucid. To imagine that that's the next stop, unless they wanted to grab a ShowMaker pick early, but I just don't feel like you need to in this draft right now.
Yeah. Does he want to go for like a Nefiri or something in this moment? That could be an option that they're looking for.
I mean, the Fury feels really good with the set they have. Skarner also great.
I like the Skarner angle, as Lucid has also had some great performances on the champion. You can see still deliberating, but they will lock it in. So Scorpion to be picked up here as now we go into our next round of bans. Probably going to be targeting some solo lanes.
All right. So now, are you wondering about the Aurora pick here for BDD that could work so well with the Nocturne they have set up? Are you thinking about safe top lane picks like Gnar for Perfect?
I think Twisted Fate as well for DK to ban, I think would be a good one, because you don't want to play it into a Nocturne, and so you're not going to be picking it away.
That's a good point.
It doesn't really fit into a team fighting style that a Yunara would like, but I think it'd still be fine. Is the Aurora going to be the first one?
Maybe they just go Aurora Gnar for KT Rolster on the other side. See what they want to do. Maybe ban a Vayne, and maybe even ban a Tristana. If you go Tristana here, then they ban the Gnar, then you have the extra ban, it feels like, as KT. Maybe that could be a way to play this. You don't have to play Gnar here, but it feels like with what we're at in this third game, Fearless-wise, it is very high stocks at this moment in time. Banning the Ahri instead, just to further lower the pick potential here for Dplus Kia with this Lucian comp.
Yeah, and also ShowMaker has been pretty good on the Ahri as well. Just trying to protect whatever BDD wants to play.
Thing is,
the mid lane pool is really getting thinned out.
For trying to ban like a Tristana, for example, this is the problem with first pick for KT. They don't have counter pick, and they don't have pick priority. So they ban Vayne, And now KT are like, we're not going to get the Gnar because they get to pick first. So they might have to now respond with a Gnar ban of their own.
Yeah.
Which is awkward, but I guess it's what is required. Maybe Perfect can end up playing Renekton to give them a little bit of mid-game power.
Oh, Wowie. Okay. I mean, you understand it. I mean, this is Siwoo we're talking about. But the nod becomes pretty free.
Can Perfect play Tristana top? We don't know the answer to that question. I don't think he will. But, you know, we know that Siwoo is capable of it.
Yeah.
And it's available if they wanted to get something more high prio here for ShowMaker. And it feels like there's a lot of flexibility here for Dplus for how they finish off this draft. But Gnar feels like the highest prio pick left available, so it makes a lot of sense to take it. And will we see Tristana top? Probably not. Will we see something like Renekton, where Perfect can go toe-to-toe a little bit in the early game? That seems more likely to me.
Yeah, there's also some angles with like Renekton, Lulu providing a whole lot of health to the Crocodile. I think the Perfect could certainly get pretty strong in this game as the Zoe for BDD.
Blind pick.
All right, that's a BDD special. I'm very intrigued as to what ShowMaker wants to play into it. Does kind of change what this draft looks like. And let's see what Perfect wants to do to augment it.
I still like the Renekton most here, but yeah, it looks like that's what he's going to go for. There was a world where they could have played, you know, double scaling AD carry with Tristana, but it's too volatile. Is he going to play Syndra? You know, I feel you could play Syndra here in this draft. Works well with everything else you have. It is ShowMaker. It's not very meta, but...
Yeah. Also gets bubbled easily. So maybe something with more mobility could be the option, but I don't know. Maybe he just sends it.
I don't want to predict because it's a CV Max moment right here. He and ShowMaker are having a bit of a chat about it.
It's like, can I Cassidon? Can I? Guys, that's LeBlanc. Okay. So we've got BDD Zoe versus ShowMaker's LeBlanc in match point for Dplus. With a victory here, they've gone 6-0 to head towards Wonju in order to face off against Gen G on Saturday. Or KT, start the reverse sweep right now.
That is the question. When I joined the LCK in 2021, being able to see ShowMaker's LeBlanc against BDD Zoe was very meta back then. It was a treat. We were served only a few times, right? It was epic.
Yeah.
Back to see these two champions fight off against each other and to see such skilled mid laners go toe-to-toe. Back then, BDD on Gen G 2021, Dom on top of the world after winning the World Championship. And to be able to watch it again in a Fearless Best of 5 in 2026 feels like even if this series just ends up being a bust and it's 3-0, at least BDD gets to go out on his own terms on this Zoe pick, and we'll see if this works out. This, to me, is of the three, the strongest KT draft we've seen today.
Yep, I would agree. And I also think that there are some demons to get out here on the DK side. The last time ShowMaker played the LeBlanc, it didn't necessarily work out. And Smash has been caught out of position on this Lucian, right? You do have to play very aggressively, but sometimes that can bite them back. And aiming has a lot of carry potential in this game. Perfect's Renekton has been great this season. There are some avenues for KT to finally get back on track. Let's get onto the rift for Game 3. All right, Chijik Lowpark is still erupting with every single fan chant here, as this could be the final game in the series. I want to remind everyone, this is, by remind, I mean, I don't think anyone knew yet, but we're filming a Pog State episode tonight. And as we always like to say, we need to have maximum games in order to be as unhinged as possible in the Pog State. And we are going to be way too hinged. Like, I don't even know whether anyone's turned up to, like, set up a microphone yet, just because it's still so early.
I'm going to be a door that has, like, a really easy-to-turn knob, and there's a door stop on the wall. That's how hinged I'm going to be.
Wow, that's too hinged, Wolf.
If they win right here, Dplus, it's going to be the worst Pog State episode ever.
Yeah.
But, I mean, still watch it and check it out. But
I want to be a rickety gate, man. That's what I want to be. I want to be a rickety gate. I don't want to be hinged at all. I just basically want to be a bit of cardboard in front of like a doorway.
Yeah, I want to be like a one of those doors that's activated by motion that slides with no hinges, but there's like a box or something preventing it, and I'm constantly slamming into the box and opening and closing.
Like in the zombie movie?
Yes!
Yes, that's what you want to be. And somehow the power is still on.
And eventually you have to end the Pogstate episode. You're like, Wolf, please stop talking. We're going home.
Oh, they're my favorite episodes. When I have to stop you from talking instead of being the one to always be talking too much.
Perfect.
She was going in. Perfect. Great flash, but he is still in a very uncomfortable position. Let's see whether the Crocodile can get out of the way of this one as he tries to turn it around. Does manage to slice and dice through, but now has no mobility, no flash, no chance. First blood over to Dplus.
Ah, such a great early lead as the crowd says, shoo!
Oh, it's shoo 3-0 hinged Pogstate.
Yeah, that's what it looks like right now, as that's the first time I've ever heard the shoo chant in the crowd like that.
Yeah, it's actually super huge.
That was so sick. He just played perfect like a fiddle in this one, because he's baiting him here like, oh, okay. Perfect's like, all right, I'm safe, but then Lucid shows up. And Perfect plays this really well. He decides to go for the stun first so they can get a little bit of extra space here. And like, you know, if Lucid was a little bit lower here, maybe like if he could get one more turret shot on him, he could have done something there, but he did everything he could. He had no flash. He didn't know about the Skarner until it was too late.
And also, Lucid's playing Aftershock Skarner as well, so slams him into the wall, but then has so many resistances to deal with some turret shots, so he's feeling happy about that one. Dplus also playing aggressively here as Smash, looking for an angle towards Effort, gets fire kicked, but his bottom lane looks like it's going pretty well for Dplus, as we would expect against the Yunara Lulu that hasn't necessarily been the most phenomenal thing in the earlier stages of the game. As Cuzz spots out Lucid, who is building towards that protoplasm belt, just wants to have the quickest first item possible. And we know that he has been able to find a lot of success with this build. Him and Canyon been pretty fantastic on this Skarner.
And I mean, can I say, like, I think one thing that, I'll stop saying it for a moment.
Yeah, that is going to be a slightly scared Skarner, I guess. Only because I saw the fear notification above his head, not based on how he was playing at all.
This series for Lucid has been incredible. He has had such a phenomenal series. He has just run every single game so far, start to finish. And we go into this third game, he's already helped pick up first blood in the first 3 minutes into the Renekton. In a tough matchup, if the Renekton falls behind, very volatile, you have to play it very, very well early and hold on to those advantages, find the right moments to trade with the mini Gnar, exchange blows with the Mega Gnar, and it is playable. We've seen a lot of Renekton players get a lot better in what used to be a counter pick, right, the Gnar into the Renekton, but now when you're behind, it just feels so rough. At least Cuzz is going to come try to help out.
Yeah, flash out from Siwoo. He's going to try and create some distance, but he won't have the hop available. That is still going to take a while. So Cuzz gets underneath the turret, and Siwoo is going to be taken down. Great answer here from KT, as finally they're able to, like, actually get something back in this early game as a response. So nicely done. Only a 300 gold lead here for DK as a result.
Cuzz looking like Gandalf, man. He's like, in game 3, look top
dawn
lane.
Of the third game.
Yeah, dawn of the third game, look top lane. Because he was absent in most of our early games so far, but this time around, she was way too far up in the lane. You don't expect the pre-6 ganking Nocturne, and they have to flash to secure the CC here to get the fear. But once that goes off, because Siwoo is flashless, it is just a freebie. Cuzz makes it happen there with his aggressive flash forward, and once he gets level 6, we'll see what else he can do on the map. Maybe he can patch this hole in the bottom lane.
Yeah, because that's where things are going slightly wrong. It's not exactly the worst situation, right, as they do at least crack some of this crystalline overgrowth. But KT, I mean, as long as they don't die and they keep farming relatively well, I mean, 6 CS is nothing to worry about right now. As aiming, Effort is just going to almost die as I was saying it. Oh, God, I'm just going to try to not say anything at all. It's okay. Well, I can't do that. It's my job to say stuff. Now Lucid is going to come in and look for Perfect. Just the edge of the Gnar is gorgeous. As the wallop comes down, Perfect, though, with the Dominus, is going to be able to keep himself alive. And DK not going to sacrifice their health bars at all to try and grab that kill.
There's no follow-up dive here. Cuzz has level 6, and Perfect has a wave to get empowered Q on to get a lot of health back. You can see his health on your UI there just went back up to like 75%. He's totally fine. Even with level 6, into the Skarner. He's not playing this game with the LeBlanc prio in mid, which is a good call. Cuzz has played that game quite a few times this round 2 and onward, and deciding to opt out was the correct decision. Now Perfect has the wave in a good spot for him. Yeah. With no flash for Siwoo and Nocturne having level 6. Kind of backfires here, what was set up moments before.
And all of these minions are just going to go to the wayside. I don't know how they're going to break this. As Perfect just very happy to hold it. Cannon will be going down, so at least there's that. But Siwoo just decides he's going to have to go home. It is just too dangerous.
And he doesn't have teleport either, so this is actually going to start to compound into a larger advantage here for Perfect. So ends up being really nice for them.
Yep.
Effort has he's made some risky decisions, let's say, this series. He's not going to be doing anything here, surely.
Actually able to leech some experience, though, which is pretty nice, as Smash holds onto the wave himself.
Yeah, I don't think you want to try to break this freeze right now with just a Lulu into a level 6 Lucian. He's just hanging out as he watches it happen, and he's like, oh, now the Lulu wave's in a pretty annoying spot for us. But we do have one ultimate online, not the second just yet here for Effort, but he does have a massive experience lead in this game, so we'll have the wild growth a little bit faster.
Yeah. Could actually be a big deal. As Korea getting some defensive vision down. Should be early Drake now started up for KT, unless they just clear the vision and leave.
Okay, with Cuzz in the area, I do think this is a pretty strong position for KT. His career loses some health here as well, and they should be able, I think, to start this dragon, and it's going to be in trade for these grubs on the top side.
Yep. And man, I am, okay, never mind. A little bit of aggression here in this mid lane. ShowMaker, I believe, just missed a cannon. Didn't see the money pop up. As Perfect takes a house to the face. Doesn't feel great, but he is able to walk it off.
I think
another one, though. Okay.
Okay, we're going to have that timing here in this bottom lane. Effort's so close to 6.
Yeah, Aiming going to press that R button, looking for the damage here towards Smash, who throws down the barrier. He's able to mop up the minions, but isn't able to get a lot of damage down with the culling on to the bottom lane.
Wild growth combo.
Looking for a dive. There it is. Onto the Lucian. Get the wild growth as well, as he's not quite able to get the polymorph before the Relentless Pursuit came out, but that doesn't matter. Cuzz locks them both down, and Aiming collects kill credit for one of them. And KT finally with a lead.
Yeah, KT, not only did they not lose the game in the first 5 minutes, they get a lead here, a massive one at 9 here, 1,000 gold ahead. I want to remind everyone that this Nocturne Lulu combo was popularized by KT Rolster in their upset win against T1. They were the first team to pull this one out, and they pull it out here again in this draft with the first pick, Nocturne, and it is working out very well. Cuzz looking like a completely different beast in this one. And I think draft in this series absolutely playing a big part here, but the gameplay for KT backing it up here in this one.
Yeah, and it absolutely has to, right? Like, Cuzz has been very inactive, I should say, in the early stages of the last couple of games. Now, 100% kill contribution at 9.5 minutes. Feeling absolutely fantastic here on the Nocturne. First item completed, and it's a better one than that of the fancy little belt that Lucid has put together.
ShowMaker ulting here for tempo. Yeah, pretty massively. It was double ignites in the mid lane, of course. Very much a powerful lane if you can get ahead, but has not really gotten to that point too much yet. ShowMaker does have a 10 CS lead. Really love how Effort and Aiming played that last fight. You know, didn't have the wild growth, but baited everything out of Smash early. Had the wild growth from the Nocturne coming over. Lucid isn't there, so there's nothing he can do defensively. The one trade-off for that play, though, is that they didn't get the dragon, right? They were able to get the kill, get a lead. No dragon.
Not quite yet. Some plates might be going over here as Smash and Korea have managed to push this lane up. But Smash just gets a little bit of a warm hug and backs himself away, as Cuzz now just clearing out the rest of his jungle. And looking pretty scary. 1 second, there's the paranoia once again. He is already in position in this bottom lane, moving down to try and take out Korea and Smash. Lucid in position this time, though.
Ooh.
And Effort is going to see him. Really nicely played here from KT to make sure that they do their homework.
Effort does not have flash, so still scary to go forward. Has the wild growth, though, and maybe if they could find an angle here onto Smash, they could just go for a repeat before Lucid can get in there to defend.
Yep.
Ten's 3v3.
Lucid is very tanky, though, right now, so he can provide a front line for Smash to play around. As Perfect going to get ulted once again here by Siwoo, thrown houses once again. And is hitting a lot of them. Manages to get the cannon as well as the Renekton. Looking gorgeous on that front as there's the Impale. It collects Cuzz! Oh no, he's going to press the Paranoia button. though, as Korea just flashes out of the way and takes down the Nocturne. Culling doesn't do much of anything at all, though, as now Smash able to get a lot of damage with that Light Slinger. BDD moving down towards the bottom lane, though, is going to provide a lot of space for ShowMaker to get damage onto this turret. And Smash gonna have to deal with that Slurkle and gets himself out of the way of it. Aiming now finally with some free time on this turret.
I think the fight is fine if Cuzz doesn't get impaled. No spell shield for the impale there. And he just gets caught and still commits right to trying to kill a career.
Oh, perfect. Immediately just flashing on top of Siwoo. Needs a whole lot more Nabar if he wants to have a good time, but now he's going to get kited out. And the Nabar was just a little bit too frightening. Flash for flash there on that top side. As Lucid moving on up.
Yeah, Cuzz is here without Paranoia, so I don't think this is a 2v2 they're going to opt for, but a lot of value still in the push they get after this. So Cuzz thought he could sidestep there. They have the Wild Growth onto the Skarner, and Career just kind of walks away, right? He flashes back, not under any threat, but with all the damage they got here, they still are able to get more plate gold and push this wave in the interim because there's no ults for either bottom laner, so you can see it's down to 2 plates there. Still a big lead here for aiming in this game.
Yep. BDD, not going to get tagged.
We haven't seen the mid laners get involved in any early scraps just yet, but it has been ShowMaker has been holding the prio and the advantages that are stacking up little by little here as he got the Luden's advantage as well. So BDD has really just been kind of his back against the turret for all of this early game, which is not how he wants to play Zoe. And we've seen a few of those Zoe games already this season. One of his best picks, but just isn't getting accelerated the way he often does.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously wants to be playing around in this mid-game a little bit more, like skirmishes, things like that, where you can find the priority targets with the bubbles, pair that with the Paranoia and things like this. But right now, ShowMaker is keeping him locked in lane. Now Paranoia comes down yet again. There's a great Wild Growth combo one more time, but there is the Impale onto 2. Aiming able to get out of the way of it, though, and now doing so much damage. Smash already taken out. Korea in so much trouble, and Aiming is just free hitting over and over. Flash out for Lucid is going to keep him alive.
Aiming is insane!
Yeah, KT, man, finally performing in this series.
He's like, no, I'm going in. I'm going past the Skarner. He has flash. He dashes through. And once he doesn't get locked down, he's like, we win these. That was crazy. And he's 1,400 gold ahead now after this play. They have total control of the bottom side of the map. We're going to see the lane swap come through here.
The Gold King is back.
Watch Aiming in this scrap. Because Lucid's here. He knows it. But they want this Wild Growth combo. Aiming's kiting it back. Dashes past the Skarner. And avoids the Impale. Flashes just to be safe, but I think he was out of range of it there. But he just makes sure. And he just says no to that Skarner. Lucid has to run Scorpion tails between legs there
all
out of this
those
fight.
Tails.
Oh, that was a very risky play there. If Aiming gets caught, the situation is totally different, but they were so confident.
It was really nicely done. As DK do move their bottom lane towards his top side. They're taking out a whole bunch of plates. There is a Renekton on the bottom side of the map going for a bit of a cross-map play here. But I feel like DK do have a bit of an advantage as far as tempo is concerned.
Yeah, first turret likely to go over to the Renekton, but the Gnar is biding his time, and we'll see. Looks like it's not going to happen right now as this wave gets cleared out. Skarner's going to leave.
Yep, that gold lead has shrunk a little bit that Aiming had been able to put together for himself. As now Siwoo dealing with this Renekton, but
all of the gold lead really is in ShowMaker, or like the fact that this gold lead isn't as large as it could be is because of ShowMaker's laning, and the plates that just got picked up for Smash really halved the gold deficit he was in. So Dplus doing a great job of getting this Lucian into a good spot.
Oh dear. ShowMaker is just going to blow up Aiming. Well, the chains are not going to quite connect, but Aiming does still have to get out of there. And now this should be DK with control over anything. Oh no, Aiming. He will get himself out of there. It was Lucid that had the choice words for Aiming as well before this series. Bubble doesn't quite land, and now Cuzz with the Paranoia down. Aiming turns it with the ulti, and it's BDD that locks down the kill. Lucid is going to immediately get punished, and ShowMaker has to flash to get out of the way of Cuzz. But KT still want to make this happen towards his top side. There is no minion wave as Aiming is going to get turned on here by ShowMaker and just dies for his trouble. Aiming now 3-0-2, and he doesn't want out of this series yet.
No, I debated about talking about it when they tried to kill him a moment before when Effort came over and pressed the shield and pressed the heal when ShowMaker was going to go all in, but I was going to say, like, aiming was like, you press every button, I ain't going to barrier. I'm more important. And you know what? He has his barrier when ShowMaker goes for the all in that final moment. I don't know if it was necessarily the difference maker, but it definitely made it impossible for ShowMaker to make anything happen there, and he picks up a third kill. And suddenly, if I look at the palms of my hands, I'm like, is it possible we could have a series?
I mean, it at least says Gnar. It at least says Gnar.
Yeah. Because aiming here, he doesn't use barrier, is what I'm getting at. And then he kind of accidentally baits them, and Lucid goes in super deep for this. And aiming's low health, but if they don't have access, then he can do infinity damage even though he's super low. And they play this super slow but super well. KT, Paranoia. Aiming goes up topside to clear the wave. They know they can collapse on the ShowMaker with a wave crashing through. I mean, as it does, ShowMaker's like, well, I've got one chance here to make something of this. But the barrier is real, and down he goes.
I mean, in the meantime, there were a couple of turrets that were taking a whole lot of damage. So they lose mid-outer and the bottom outer. So you can see the gold lead hasn't actually changed all that much, outside of the fact that aiming is absolutely gigantic. He has 2 items, Smash has 2 items, Cuzz is going to be able to find Lucid here.
BDD's on the map, you know, he got that first kill for him now, so he's no longer in ShowMaker jail.
Yep.
So that's good for him as well. But we are still at a very even game state. Feels, you know, like maybe we could see Gnar on our hands because this is the first real game for KT this series. I mean, far from over.
This is definitely a game in our hands. And the essence of that is that we don't know who's going to win pre-15 minutes, which has kind of been the way of the last 2. Still, the entire outer ring of turrets has been taken here by DK, and only 1 on the KT side. They might be able to change that, though, as the Rift Herald is now going to get marched into this outer turret in mid. BDD looking for a bit of an angle here with the Paddle Star, as this siege from the Zoe is so scary. Lucid did not want to take a nap there, but had to do it. And there is the outer turret falling. KT able to pull back even further into the lead. And these bubbles just keep landing. Korea obviously can self-cleanse, but this ulti is just going to be on cooldown all the time.
Well, if he gets the ulti out for a bubble, that's 100%, 1,000% worth for BDD every time. The early game here for KT has been phenomenal, and even though the gold lead is small here for KT, they have it in the right place in this late game scaling Gnar. And for the first time, it feels like aiming is going to actually be able to do the carrying of the game. Like, he has the opportunity to at least, as he's got his Phantom Dancer online right now, and is looking to go for a late game where, you know, he's set up for success. He has a Lulu, he has a Nocturne. He might not have a Lulu right now.
Yeah, the Lulu does have to leave, but will not die. So there is that.
Siwoo is also becoming a big problem.
He is.
They're not playing through shutting down this Gnar because they're playing for mid-prio. And eventually, this Gnar becomes a secondary AD carry threat if he is not responded to. As we will see BDD at least kind of surf around the area for a moment.
Yep. And they do have 3 grubs as well, so Siwoo in a side lane is going to be very, very scary. Still,
Earth, Wind, and Fire?
Yeah, we could actually have a Cloud Soul, which would... Oh, it's Hextech Soul instead. That is a spicy one.
Too many Hextech Souls this season.
So many, man. We've just switched to the other tech. Orcs had his way with the season prior with all of the chem techs, but now it is Hextech season. Is that going to be another Piltover Arcane season?
When we said season, like I said just then season, I'm like, is this the LCK actually technically? I don't even know if these stats go to LCK or not because it's road to MSI, but still,
I think they do.
This year has had too many Hextech Souls here in GG Law Park.
And
tone it down, Rito.
And I know this is a way more interesting game, and there is a lot more to talk about, but I would really like our stats team to actually give us a breakdown of how many souls that we've had for each of the dragons. It just would be really, really good.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'd be down.
If anyone's listening.
It might be on GOL. I don't know. I don't have time to check right now because we're casting this game, but eventually.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some. I guess, like you knows here, somebody's here. Like, we'll be able to figure something out. But that would be fun information to have.
Now, because of this double dragon here and the potency of it, especially with a comp like this, it is pretty scary for Dplus to give up any more of these.
Yes.
And they opted out because they didn't want to skirmish into this fed Yunara, but she's only getting stronger. And this Smash Lucian hasn't been set up to get any kills in this mid game. This is where he thrives normally, but because he's so far behind, even though he has 2 items, It's not really him threatening aiming like he wants to be. Lucian wants to be kind of dashing forward and chunking the Yunara and having jungle support, but instead it's KT who have full control. Despite the fact that KT also lost their mid-turret, just hasn't been valuable for this LeBlanc this game around.
And Siwoo is a gigantic problem. I just don't know whether that is going to really matter. It kind of feels very similar to the position Perfect was in game number 1, where he had a bit of a lead, but the rest of the map was just kind of a disaster. So
a lot of
can he actually, get into positions to really help them win this game? That's going to be my question for later.
Yeah, I think a lot of this game is going to come down to the fact that even though he's big, there's a Nocturne that can, even if he goes deep inside, a Nocturne can shut him down and punish.
That's a good point. Yeah, okay, Cuzz could be in a little bit of trouble, down to 50% health, as there's the culling. He's against a wall, and Effort has to block it for him. Still, that is a lot of damage done by DK.
Yeah, maybe he's like, I can't kill aiming, but if this Nocturne is going to be a little greedy, could maybe look for that one. Unfortunately, for Smash, they're not able to get any lethal damage there or even any summer spells off of that, so hurt the Nocturne a lot, but he doesn't really care. He's just going to go back home and Hexgate back into the jungle. He's going to continue to fight for vision here, where Dplus do have a little bit of vision around this Baron control. That's why KT are responding so much, but I think KT are also aware there's no chance they could be doing this as solo attempt?
Yeah, just going in. As the chains are going to land, and Cuzz, I mean, sometimes you just want to hit at a LeBlanc. And Bubble is going to connect here onto Lucid as well. Circle is down, but he should be able to drive his way out, and he is able to do so.
If they
a hug from Career as well.
They do this, and then they are able to get a lot of Lucid's health bar. Like, if they were able to turn this into a Baron take, that would have felt fantastic because there's no enemy jungler there. But with Hexgates, I think even with this Yunara,
level lead.
Yeah, I think even with this Yunara, they can't start Baron.
So not quite.
It was a fake 2-level lead.
Yeah, fake one. But still, I mean, that's a full level lead, right?
Yeah, it's big. He is going to eventually have to be answered, but now he knows there's no paranoia, so he can play a little bit further up to try to pressure insides. But KT, instead of looking for a Baron there, with Hexgates and all of the volatility that comes with it, they're just going to say, we got the LeBlanc flash. Nocturne ult is on a very short cooldown, and so we'll just have that for the next Dragon. We'll look for a Soul Point instead. And this is where I think Dplus have to opt in. If you just go, oh, well, LeBlanc and Gnar will side lane push, then KT can just leave someone on the Dragon and actually look to punish your side lane push as well. Like, they could just have aiming solo it if you completely nope out of the Dragon here as Dplus. So I think they will have to 5v5. Eventually, they will have to come face-to-face with this bloodthirster Yunara.
I kind of like the tech, as ShowMaker is looking for a bit of an angle here towards Cuzz. They do find the chains, and he does get McHale's, so that is going to keep him safe still. The longer they lock Siwoo in a 1v1 in the side lane, the happier DK are going to be about this one. Gets a nice little Gnar into the wall, but it's only to soften up this Renekton, as the mini Gnar is what really does the damage here. DK now backing away 30 seconds on the Drake.
Yeah, if KT are able to get control of the Dragon while she was pushing hard but not getting any real damage done, then it feels like a win, but he just kind of is like, well, I'll do it again. I am level 16. Perfect is just trying to clear these waves and then not interact with him as the top lane goes.
Now able to get himself out.
Dplus looking for a potential group up for contest. ShowMaker and BDD both do not have teleport. BDD is coming over much faster, and there's no turret for ShowMaker to threaten, so I mean, Dplus are eventually going to have to make the call to send ShowMaker down here if they are going to fight. He is heading over.
Yeah. Wandering down as best he can. As you say, though, no teleport to get himself over there, as Siwoo has a Nabar in a great position. And Cuzz, Spell Shield now on cooldown, the flash in, the Gnar onto 3! As he looks for aiming, the Polymorph is fantastic though, as the Paranoia comes on through and aiming is now safe! ShowMaker now trying to get out of the way of Cuzz, who paranoid on top of him yet again, and aiming is going to follow as Lucid misses the Impale and has to flash away! Smash having to get out of the way of Perfect as well, who keeps himself alive! Lucid not going to be so lucky as aiming on an absolute rampage, flashing forward and wants to find the target. BDD gets in there, and Smash is so close to dead, and it's ShowMaker that falls instead. Still, DK are not going to be threatening this one, and KT can get whatever they would like.
No one could say that Siwoo did not do his job there, but there just wasn't enough follow-up. The instant polymorph comes through, aiming gets all the resources, and Gnar, when he's ahead, doesn't do that much in terms of engage. Like, your lead doesn't matter when you're the engaged champion and you just get burst down, and frankly, that's basically what happened here. If he was just autoing and mini, might have been more value, as the angle was there, the timing was right, but the follow-up just was so far away that even though he got a really good CC score there, I think he might have just sent us to a game 4.
And the thing is, like, I swear there was an angle for Lucid to flash Impale.
Yeah, and he didn't take it. And then Perfect, by the way, in moments before, not in this moment, or he's already backed, but he kept chasing. He was so low health. He was playing on a tightrope this far behind in this game, just so that Aiming can make sure he gets that damage done. And now it's going to be sole point here for KT.
Yep, Baron already. And this is starting to look like the other two games, but in the other direction, as KT looking absolutely phenomenal in this one. You can see the gold lead was not moving anywhere for a very long time, sitting at about 1,000, but now finally at a real large number.
KT are the team, and we said it earlier, we talked about it so much earlier this season when they were on top. They weren't the team like HLE to push and get like the early 8,000 gold lead. We've seen Dplus have in this series and their wins. They kind of wait for their moment. That was their moment to punish, and they absolutely did. KT Dragon punishes. That was the thing. And this was, in this game, the thing as well, that maybe what does Dplus in as their 2,000 gold lead Gnar finds the angle.
Yeah.
But it's just a little bit too disjointed. And KT now are starting to open up the base here.
And I don't think the DK can really defend this, as it's down to one plate remaining. Lucid looking for an angle to get on in there as Cuzz takes a little bit of damage, but BDD is still fishing for these bubbles. And Aiming just wants to take down this inhibitor. He will be able to do so as Smash cannot offer anything back. Effort immediately throws that polymorph over towards ShowMaker. And once again, this LeBlanc is just not doing enough in this game.
I love the Bloodthirster tech. I know Aiming gets a lot of criticism.
I was going to mention this actually, and I agree with you.
But this Bloodthirster, the shield into the LeBlanc, makes you so much tankier. Like, it makes you just, you eat that first round of spells and you're like, I'm ready to go. I'm going to heal back up. And when you have Bloodthirster PD, it's like old AD carry days where you're just like, okay, if you don't instantly explode me, you'll never kill me, especially if the Gnar is in Mega form and is melee and is just getting chunked out by the Yunara as the fight is going on. Smash has done a lot of damage in this game, but the impact of that damage hasn't led to the takedowns that Dplus need to win these fights. If Aiming survives the initial salvo, you can't win the fight.
Well, now Dplus certainly on the ropes, not out of it. I mean, it's 5,000 gold, it's not 10,000, so I guess that is, I mean, you can always say that it's, oh, it's not, it is 10,000, it's not 20,000, but it's still not over as that Impale, certainly not going to land, as Lucid taking a lot of damage. Another bubble is going to connect. Man, BDD though is just so good, as Aiming going to get cold. The fire kick is decent, effort is there to save him, but that is a lot of cooldowns now used. Still, ShowMaker now on the prowl, looking for an angle here as Lucid gets the grump, but doesn't get much more than that. And now Cuzz makes things very, very dark. The wallop over there from this Gnar is pretty big, and no one's dead just yet. But ShowMaker takes a bit of a sleep, does manage to distort over the wall though, as Aiming still at full health and will be even fuller as this fight goes on with that Bloodthirster.
That sleep was insane, didn't matter, but crazy angle he found.
There were a lot of really cool moments in that, and none of them really, oh my god, Aiming just does so much damage.
I mean, also, you know, Aiming had to use his barrier there, got all the shields from effort, but you see he's just back up at full health again. ShowMaker wants to find this
they may have overstayed their welcome, but that chain was not really going to connect as Lucid pulls Cuzz over. Doesn't find the wall though, and there is ShowMaker making his way in once again. That health bar is so low, but Siwoo is on an angle as well. He's got Flash coming up so incredibly soon. Perfect gets into that backline though. Smash able to dodge out of the way, and KT's health bars are so extraordinarily low. The chains connect onto Cuzz, who does get snared, but not killed just yet as the hop gets Siwoo out of there. Aiming is able to pick up the kill though. Oh my god, KT are just playing on a knife's edge right now, and you don't even need to. Perfect goes down, Smash at full health. He takes out effort as well. ShowMaker is dead, and the hop over from Siwoo flashes on top of Aiming. Paranoia is up once again as it's a triple for Smash. Could it be the quadra? And there it almost is, as Siwoo steals it away, and DK may have found their way back into this game.
They certainly have given themselves a better chance. The base is in tatters throughout this extended fight. The Super Minions were getting a lot of work done. They got one of the Nexus turrets, but it doesn't necessarily matter. Now, KT will be respawned for the Dragon fight. As if we're going to watch this whole replay, we might miss it. But the crux of this fight is that KT are too far up, and she was 2 steps ahead, saving for the backline, forces the teleport from the Renekton, but Dplus see it, and they're like, all right, let's just front to back this, let's play this slow. We don't have to just burst aiming down because everyone's so low here. ShowMaker goes so deep to get that additional damage done, ultimately isn't able to kill Cuzz, which is why he's able to later ult back in. But Dplus are like, we have this secondary AD carry here in Siwoo, and if we play slow, we absolutely can win this fight, especially with aiming now down Wild Growth. And Cuzz makes a very aggressive call here as his paranoia comes back up, but I want to watch the Dragon fight his effort in live.
Yeah, the chain not going to quite lock him down, but they do get the flash out of the Lulu in live. And BDD over the wall, that's a scary one, but does at least have to portal back and is going to be all right there. 2-0-5 for this Zoe. Rabadon's death cap in hand as well, but after that fight, Smash is now massive. Molder Reminder completed, as well as those first 3 items. As DK, they might actually have some fight in them for this soul point on the KT side. Still so many cards in the hands of KT at this moment, as Lucid tanking up a lot of damage, but Siwoo charging that Naba on this Gromp. Can DK find themselves a team fight? That is the question.
Siwoo's angle is really good.
Yeah, but KT have spotted him out. There is the paranoia. They're looking for the angle, and that is going to be the steal. Hextech Soul comes in for KT. And now Lucid taking so much damage. The Impale picks up 2. The Gnar under the wall, and it's the Lulu that goes down forward. They take out aiming. And DK, they didn't find the Drake, but they found the fight. Lucid still in trouble, though, and BDD is still very scary. He's perfect. Gets in there, and they both die. The Umbral Blades from Cuzz locks them down. And there is only Siwoo left alive. And KT, they get the Drake, and as it turns out, win the fight.
BDD saw his team and his road to MSI Live flash before his eyes there when that Impale came through, but he was able to carry it through. He was able to get it done. He was able to keep them in this game, but the fight is a wash, and so Dplus now are still alive in this game, right? KT technically win the fight. They got the Dragon, and they're going to look for Baron here, but Dplus still have one more chance. As this fight initially is KT is playing this so slow. They're juggling, dealing with this Gnar on one side, but also the Smite fight on the left side. And when the Smite comes through, they're like, okay, we just got to back away. We just got to back away. But when they decide to chase this play, fly the way, even Drowsy, he's like, I'm going to make it happen. Flash forwards the Impale, and then the Gnar follow-up was insane, but there's just too... The health bars are too low. This Renekton is too large. Cuzz has a GA.
Perfect. This angle, man.
Look, it's so crazy. It's like smashing them with this Q. Strikebreaker breaks their spirits, and BDD layers all that damage through from the backside of the fight.
It almost looked like it was something that DK could actually use.
I thought Lucid might have just robbed us of a series. Like, I thought he was like, you know what? I'm going to Wonju. And
they still definitely could. They've got a couple of match points after this.
And they are in a position where their Nexus is still alive. Their inhibitor has respawned, and she was level 20. The gold lead is diminished here for KT. They still have a Hextech Soul. They have Baron. And they should be in a position to win this game.
Oh, Wolf. Elder flip territory.
He cannot stop this TP. But yeah, I mean, it's a potential angle here in this game.
My goodness. This has been, like, even if this is the last game, I'm so much happier about this series now that this game has at least existed.
Yeah, I like to have in my best of fives a parentheses and parentheses game at least.
Yeah. That would be nice.
And I think KT should be able to take this inhibitor off the map. Smash just got his GA. There's one big fight here potentially for Siwoo to flank with on this Gnar, but he's just pinned down. And they're just going to get this inhibitor, and now they can start pushing this push into the mid lane, that mid-inner. And the Elder in 3 minutes will give them, I mean, the fact that it's in 3 minutes will give Dplus enough time to kind of lick their wounds here, as long as they don't make a mistake. So they just need to play defensively and hope that KT make a mistake, or that if they have to lose their second inhibitor, at least they don't lose the game while they do it.
Yeah, the problem is, I just feel like KT's composition actually does siege relatively well.
The Zoe
with the Zoe, yeah, just fishing for so many of these opportunities. We know that Cuzz is very happy to just send it.
Yeah, if you make one mistake into BDD Zoe while you're defending this Baron, and somebody dies, it's over. We're going to game 4.
ShowMaker looks to see whether he can find him, but does not quite happen here.
2 levels down on this Zoe. He doesn't hit this bubble, but he was so close.
All right, ShowMaker once again hunting But aiming is looking very safe right now. Almost 6 items. Just needs a Mercurial Scimitar, and he will be just done with his build.
This top inhibitor is the most important one for Elder, if they could get it.
Oh, ShowMaker goes in. They just want to try and target effort down, I guess. Just try and remove someone from the map. Most killable member of the team, but these turrets are just melting. Siwoo looking to try and get his fangs into perfect here off to the side as we do the full zoom out. The war of attrition, that's the one that I was looking for.
Yeah.
It's going to be one here by KT.
That's the second inhibitor and the most important one for Elder, but maybe they can get 3 as they look for Siwoo here a little bit.
Oh, aiming versus Smash here, and actually aiming is going to get the bung end of it. My God, Smash so aggressive, but the Hextech Soul going to slow him down, and now Perfect is actually just going to be going down, so DK, they do get a kill.
If they got the kill on the aiming there, they might just be able to push up the mid lane in the game. That was so close. By the way, aiming doesn't flash. He's like, nah, parry's enough. I calculate this. As he walks out.
6 items now completed as well.
He has the scimitar. He is ready to do the most Yunara that anyone has ever Yunara'd in this game. But Dplus's base is in tatters. Sure, they got that kill there onto the Renekton. They're able to defend. They're able to survive. We're in Elder flip territory, but Renekton's going to respawn. He's got TP. KT have prio for this Elder, so it's going to take a miracle still for Dplus. But the fact that we get to have a conversation about the miracle is, in part, based on Smash here, the flash forward. And aiming doesn't flash in response. And then they turn on the Renekton.
And Smash, he saw the angle, and they almost managed to get it.
I think I said there at the end, am I crazy? And, I mean, yes, but in a good way.
Yeah.
And 122 health on Yunara.
Yeah, it was like Yunara, 122 HP. Very, very close.
Yeah, he saw it with the trinket there at the end. You could feel how locked in he was in that moment. He's like, I almost got him, and we would have won the game, I think. Won the series and go to Wonju off of that, but still going to have to fight for the Elder. 10 seconds, and the inhibitor push has been dealt with. You know, actually, bottom lane is cleared up.
Yeah, I do love this from KT, though.
Yeah, they're just going to push mid.
Yeah, we can just threaten the old Elder for Nexus trade. It's now Perfect in a bit of trouble.
Somebody dies. Right. KT might just lose this game. They have to play it slow, but get this inhibitor and now just kind of back away and regroup.
Yep, and now they will be able to rotate back. They put all that pressure. They bought enough time.
It's so hard to punish KT because they have the Hextech Soul, so they just kind of kite back.
Oh, the bubble from PDD! Flash from ShowMaker, but they weren't even looking for him. They are just going to go straight back towards this Elder.
And KT can do this Elder because they have a full build Yunara, and if Dplus show up, they just back away and let the super minions do the job.
Yep, there's the Paranoia Smash. He's got a GA, but he might have to use it very, very quickly in this one. Double GA's now employed, but down goes the Skarner, and the Yunara is now going ballistic. That's a triple, make it a quadra, and Perfect should be able to hold Siwoo in position to get a pentakill for aiming, and that is how KT are going to get back into this series, ladies and gentlemen. DK were punching that ticket. Aiming says absolutely not.
That pentakill by Gillette here for aiming to end the game, I think, is a statement from KT in this one. Aiming was the main character in this draft, was set up for success, and he played it so well. There were so many moments where he nearly died. He held his flash, he held his barrier. He played this entire game on a tightrope, and I think Dplus played a phenomenal game despite the deficit.